what happens. Okay, so share screen. And so I've got two browsers open. In Chrome, I'm in as the faculty member, and in Firefox, I'm in as a student. And so let me just kind of go through this expeditiously, and then we'll see, what questions you might have. So I think VoiceThread will meet. What you want is an activity in Moodle where students can submit images, photos or whatever, and then into an assignment where faculty can review the submissions without having to download them. That's the big thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to just click add an activity or resource.
Sorry, I was muted for a second. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we just want sort of a simple way for them to like upload and upload a gallery of images that they're working on, where we can then respond to them and grade them.
Okay, so I'm going to just add a VoiceThread activity, and setting up a VoiceThread is a two-step process. You first add the activity, so I'm going to call this week 5 photo submissions, and you'll want to leave the default setting here to accept grades from the tool. Under grade, you can make this, how many points you want it to be. I'm going to make it like 10 points. And if in your grade book you have set up categories, you can specify, I want this grade to go into the portfolios category that I've got set up in my grade book.
So wait, I'm sorry, when you put maximum grade 10, is that for everything that's going to be submitted there?
As a collection.
As a collection, one time, so one assignment.
Yeah, for like I said, I call this week 5 photo submissions. I don't know if you
got it. I see. But you said it was a two-step thing, don't we? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm just adding the VoiceThread activity here.
Got it.
And I'm just going to click Save and Return to Course. And this has created a kind of unformed VoiceThread activity. And I say unformed because you can have multiple different flavors of VoiceThread. So the first time as an instructor that I click on this after I've created it, this would be the second step of the process. I can choose what flavor I want it to be. And in this case, I want to make an assignment. I want to make a VoiceThread assignment. So because I left the accept grades from tool checked, I've got this option to start the assignment builder. And then there are 3 different kinds of assignments. And what I want my students to create a VoiceThread of their photos, of their images, and to submit that to this assignment. So I'm going to select this Create a VoiceThread option for the assignment builder. I can give it a description, so pick out your 10 best photos and create a VoiceThread where each photo is on one slide. And if you want, you can even say, use the text or audio commenting tool for each slide to describe what you were trying to accomplish with that photo. I'm just guessing at, what kind of assignment your faculty want.
Yeah.
You can allow students to resubmit the assignment if you want to. You want to make it simple, you can just uncheck that, click create the assignment, and VoiceThread will say, okay, the assignment's been created. It's there. Because it's a graded VoiceThread activity, this will automatically go into the gradebook, as we'll see in a minute. So now it's ready for a student to submit their photos. So I'm going to go over into Firefox and refresh the page so I can see that VoiceThread activity that my instructor just set up. And so I would click here, and what I would see as a student would be, okay, so here are the directions. Pick out my 10 best photos, create a VoiceThread, 1 photo per slide, do the comments and so forth. So I can create a new VoiceThread. First step is to add my media. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to select to upload images from my computer. And I just happen to have, a folder of images here. So I can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Upload those. VoiceThread is going to upload those as individual slides. I could, call it Keith Week 5 portfolio. Students can play around with the playback options, but there's really not any need to do so. Click Save. Then there is a VoiceThread presentation with these 10 slides, 1 image on each slide. They could actually, from this screen, go in and put in titles for each of the slides if that's of use. I don't know. Slide 1, tower. Slide 2, yin yang, so forth. So that's that's a way to get the actual images onto slides. And theoretically, if you don't care about the students adding comments to describe what they're trying to do, they could just at this point hit submit assignment. But there is the option here. As a student, I can go to the next step and go to the comments, and let me go to slide 1 here, and I would activate the comment feature down here, and I could do a text comment. Here's what I was trying to do. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And on another slide, they could go and add an audio comment. And say, I really appreciated the color scheme here and the symmetry. They could even, if they wanted to, pull out a pencil and highlight something in particular that they were commenting on. But you probably I don't think you necessarily want students to do that. But we'll look at that from the instructor perspective. I hit stop recording. It will upload the comment. They can preview it if it's the comment they want. They can click save. It shows up here as a comment on, as an audio comment on their slide, and they could go through and put comments on every slide in their portfolio. I won't bother to take the time to do that. And then when they click submit assignment, they get the ability to preview it if they want to, but they can just confirm, no, I'm ready to submit the assignment. and then they get the message that the assignment has been submitted. If I go back into Chrome, where I am the instructor, I can click on this submission, and now I will see that one of my students has submitted and others haven't. And so I could send out a reminder to students who haven't submitted or individual students who haven't submitted. I can view what Test Lambda submitted, and I will see the voice thread, including all the different comments. I could quickly preview their different submissions. I could come here and look at slide 7 or 8, whatever this was. And as the instructor, I could record a comment to provide back to the student, including pulling out a pen and saying this placement in particular was whatever you want to say, and then make whatever commentary that you want to provide on the student's images. And then as the instructor, you click stop recording. Once it is finished uploading, you can save it, and then I'll show you in a minute. The student can go back and review the comments that you have made on their images. You can also determine a percentage grade. Now, VoiceThread does not know how many points you assign this in Moodle. In Moodle, we made this a 10-point assignment, but I'm going to say, okay, this was kind of B work. I'm going to give it an 85%. And I got that little message, the grade was saved. If I close down this, and if there were more than one student who had submitted, I could go on to the next one, do the same thing. If I close down this VoiceThread assignment, and if I go and look into the gradebook and pull up the week 5 photo submissions grade item, I can see that VoiceThread talked to Moodle to send back the grade to the Moodle gradebook. It was an 85%, and 85% of 10 points is 8.5. So that's pretty much it from the instructor perspective. If I come back here as the student, I can go back into that. I mean, I could go into the gradebook and I could see that it got an 8.5. But if I actually wanted to see the comments that my instructor put onto my portfolio, I could click on it. I would get a message, well, you've already submitted. But if I, as a student, click preview and go to that slide where I see there's a new comment. If I come in here, I will see that my instructor made it. Put a. Oh, you're probably not hearing that because I didn't share my.
I can hear it. I can hear it faintly. Yeah.
Yeah, you're hearing it through my microphone, rather because I didn't select the option to.
Got it.
Put it through Zoom. But yeah, as a student, I would hear the comment. I would see whatever scribbles. And the quality of the annotation, of course, is how good you are with a mouse or a trackpad. There is actually a VoiceThread app that you can have on your tablet, but it doesn't actually at this point yet handle grading VoiceThread assignments.
Oh, okay.
But that's kind of the workflow I'm thinking that would be.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Yeah, I dug into this a little bit. The wall that I hit was not being able to see what the other side looked like.
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Not in the same way that I'm doing it. Unfortunately, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
there's a student view that you can activate in Moodle, but that's just in Moodle. It's not
Right.
like you.
So what would happen if I clicked at the student Moodle, the student view through Moodle, and then it brought me through to VoiceThread? Would that enable me to act as the student?
That would be something I'd have to test.
Okay.
But
An alternative would be is could is there a sandbox that that I could create and then just sort of test this out a little bit?
yeah, we can certainly set you up with a sandbox. We could.
Or can I enroll as a student in another?
Uh, yeah, I mean, certainly you could be enrolled as a student in a sandbox. We could set up a couple of sandboxes, and in one of the sandboxes, half of your faculty are in as faculty, and the other half are in as students. And in the other sandbox, it's reversed, so that each of your faculty has a sandbox where they can be in as a student, and each has a sandbox where they can be in as a faculty member. And then you can just work with, you can replay this video.
Right.
You can work with your faculty to get them comfortable setting up assignments in the sandbox where they are faculty, and then they can go into the other sandbox where they are students, and they can practice what it would be like to submit assignments, and everyone can get comfortable with it, with this workflow. I think it's a pretty nice and straightforward workflow. The only thing that you will need to confirm or to work out or live with, if you like the rest of this, is obviously these images are being uploaded and they're being converted into VoiceThread slides. And it looked to me that the image quality was pretty good, but I don't know, what kind of image quality requirements that you have on certain assignments. So, it's possible that taking, a multi-megapixel image and putting that onto a VoiceThread slide, I'm not sure what that's going to do to the resolution you can pump out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is not going to be suitable for doing things that would be in Photoshop and things like that, where we need to look at large files. But for, I would say, maybe 70% of our applications where we're like just looking at the image and what the student is trying to say through the body of work, I think this would be
Yeah.
great for a lot of classes. The one question I have is, can you comment on the larger gallery, or do you have to comment on?
Yeah, actually, let me go back to screen sharing. If I wanted to do a comment on the larger gallery, let me make sure that I am in Chrome. If you go into the gradebook, I'm just going to go to gradebook setup because that's easier to get to, and then go to that that view where I am doing the single view, and I'll go ahead and select that VoiceThread activity where I've gotten the points over, but you can see that in the Moodle gradebook there is also a place for narrative feedback.
Right.
So I could, if I wanted to get the grade, the numerical scores transferred over from VoiceThread, so I don't have to recopy them, I could then come in here and I could override all of these, or an individual one, and that would free up
Got it.
this place. And then the student could go into the gradebook and see their score plus any kind of overall comments.
Right. And then I guess what I meant was, can you do a voiced thread on the gallery?
Yeah, not probably in the way you're thinking. So, I mean, basically what you're kind of asking about is, if I go into this view,
Right.
is there a way to record a narration here? And no, there's not.
Okay. I guess what we could do is have them set up a, because so much of I think the work that we do is talking about the overall body of work.
Well, you could add a, oh, wait a minute. You could add a slide at the end here
Huh.
where you
Oh,
actually
that's great.
do your webcam and, here's where you could walk through all of the points you want to make for the overall gallery.
That's great.
Stop recording because I did video and you know and then students would have to go back into the VoiceThread activity to select the portfolio they submitted and hit preview. And when they previewed their VoiceThread that they submitted, they would see the new slide with your either audio or webcam commentary.
That's great. I've got one more question, but I don't want to hijack this. Joanne, do you have other questions?
No, we talked before you got here just
Okay.
about the film streaming stuff.
So now, is there a way? Can so I see Keith's week 5 portfolio. So then, as an instructor now, if I go, will I then be able to see if I did all the portfolios, and would I be able to see week 4, week 3, week 2, week 1?
Yeah, you'd want to set up a separate VoiceThread activity using yeah.
But then would I have to go to each one link? Like if I would, like, say I was doing like the end of the year, is there a gallery page where I would see all of their assignments, or would I have to go back and click?
By student, there's no VoiceThread activity that's going to kind of harvest all submissions from other ones and organize them by student.
Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay. So this is going to be really helpful. I guess the next step for me, and I know we're running out of time, you have to be smart for, the next step for me is to figure out the best way to view it as the student, just to sort of work out some of those kinks.
Like I say, we can get some sandboxes set up where some of your faculty are in one as faculty and others as students.
Because I can also put faculty in my classes, right? Like,
oh yeah, actually, if you wanted to do some
as a student.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want to use existing Moodle spaces that maybe from a past semester where you don't think students are going to be wandering in, you don't need to have us set up sandboxes, but we can certainly set up sandbox spaces for you if you want to keep your other Moodle spaces more pristine, or if you've got Moodle spaces that you didn't actually use very much for your classes in the past.
I do have a bunch that I could use. I guess. So then, how is there any Moodle page that I can be both the teacher and the participant, so I can go back and forth in the way that you just were?
Well, you could take one of your Moodle spaces where you are the instructor. And in the participants window, so here, let's see, this is Chrome. So here's where I'm in as the faculty member. If I go to the enrolled users, I'll be listed here as teacher. But you see there's a little pencil by role assignment here. Theoretically, I could also assign myself student role and save that. And now I've got 2 roles in the class.
Perfect. And I can do that for any class.
Yeah, but I mean, this if you set up a Moodle assignment, you'd also have the submission part. I'm not sure this is going to let you go into, I'm not sure this is going to let you set up a VoiceThread activity as an assignment and then go back into that VoiceThread and act in the student role. Because,
Oh,
we're connecting to a third party. I'm doubtful that you can have more than one role passed.
huh, okay.
So it might be better to do, collaborate with some of your colleagues, have them add you as students in some of their spaces, you add them as students in your spaces, and just collaborate on getting some of these VoiceThread assignments set up so you can practice.
Okay, okay. Perfect. This has been super helpful, Keith.
I will, I'll get the recording down and processed, and then I will upload it to our YouTube channel, and I'll send you out the link so that you can share it with your faculty and get their feedback on what they think of this workflow. I think this would also be very useful for the painting and drawing faculty, where they've got students who've been making 2D sketches, and they're wanting to see a whole bunch of them. So I'm planning to kind of repurpose this workflow for some
Yeah,
other.
I watched the voice spread for the painting, the one that would that a bunch of the painting folks were there, but it didn't dig in as much into the assignment aspect.
Yeah.
I think this would be helpful for them.
Yep.
Perfect. And just thank you so much for all the heavy lifting. I know this has just been such an
Yeah, thank
enormous
you,
task
Keith.
this
So
whole
much.
summer, and just know it doesn't go unnoticed. I've been
Yeah.
tapping into all the things quietly on the outside, and it's been, yeah, just thank you.
Well, that's